Well, we have a fascinating guest with us today. He is a man who has made the study of our human personalities and how God made us. He has made it his career. We all want to know what makes us tick. Why do we do some of the crazy stuff that we do? And Ken Keis, you are the president of Consulting Resource Group.
That is correct.
And I understand that you began as a dairy farmer, but somehow you have ended up all the way in this sort of format.
It's completely connected to being a publisher and public speaker, is it not? Yes.
I don't think so.
Well, I started out, and when I was 16, I knew that I was supposed to speak or communicate to others and encourage them about who they are and what they bring to the table. And so I went on this journey. I started actually after leaving agricultural and having my own farm actually, and went into sales training, and now here I am 25 years later, 3.5 million words of content that I've written in 3,000 presentations.
Wow. And what is it that you would say drives you to do this? It is incredible that we are all so unique. Some of us are more like accountants, and some of us are gregarious. We all have a personal style. God made us each so individual and unique.
Well, you know, when we talk about self-awareness, it's our responsibility to look for the clues that God has left in our life. We're all uniquely created. And so the responsibility, what transitioned for me, I knew that I was good at something, and there are many people that are watching that you're good at something. But there's an innate passion or an interest level that God has put inside of you in different areas. So we talk about personality or personal style. There's all these different, there's interests, there's gifts, there's talents. So each of us have to take that responsibility. So there's an old saying that discovery is reserved for the seeker. So am I seeking to learn about all those things about me that are unique? So you're different than Brian, obviously, right? And I'm different than you. And so I'm not trying to compare myself to somebody else. I'm trying to get connected to those unique potential things that God has put inside of me. So
is this all related to purpose? Were we born for a purpose?
Absolutely. I remember speaking at a church once, and at the end of the session, the gentleman said, you know what, I don't have a purpose. And I said, well, then your purpose is to find your purpose. And so because every single person has one, every single person has a calling, otherwise that means that his word's not true for us. And so our work, I mean, we equally work in the corporate world as we work with ministries, work with relationship coaches. So those of you that are watching, I mean, all the information that we do, it applies if you, in your marriages, those that have kids, if you're a teacher, if you're leading others, is that those preferences are highly influencing our filters. I don't know, Laura Lynn, if you've ever met somebody where immediately you have this chemistry with that person, but you've never known them before. Or somebody else that you meet, I know we're supposed to be filled with the Spirit, but not so much. Yeah, there's just a little bit of a disconnection. Say, well, I'm not really going to be hanging out with it. Well, why is that?
I think Brian felt that way about me, actually.
Yeah, I know he was saying about backstage.
Yeah, we've had to really learn to gel together.
Okay, well, that's
Different
just his sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
We work with that. So can we have fun with that? And a lot of times with individuals that we try to be somebody else rather than being clear and intentional, and that's my favorite word, intentional with all the things in our life that we have been gifted with.
Why would it be that someone would not be a seeker of their purpose? I was born looking for my destiny. God, what do you want me to do? I remember even from a very young child seeking that. But like you're talking about, a man who's saying, I don't know what my purpose is.
Well, there's so much pressure, cultural pressure. I'm the third generation, firstborn male, Eastern European descent on my dairy farm. So how much pressure was it for me to stay on the farm? I love my parents, and hopefully they'll watch this show with their son on it, and I love you, Mom and Dad, but I had to leave. And so when I left, I was betrayed. So there's this cultural pressure, or you can't do this, or people that have negative comments. I remember at a Christmas party, my son, who is a gifted musician, he's now 18, but he was 9 at the time, my aunt says, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? He says, well, I think I'm going to have my own band. My aunt says to him, what are you going to do for a real job? I said, what? Are you kidding me? And so there are so many inputs, and you just need to stop the noise and just listen to your own spirit as far as the Holy Spirit, and people who counsel and people like ourselves that help other individuals to get clear about those gifts, those talents, their personal style, those preferences, so that we can realize and contribute at the highest level. Because the saddest thing is that right now in Canada, 80% of people dislike what they do, from mildly irritated to loathe, in terms of their jobs. So what does it mean when 4 out of 5, we've met those, we travel a lot, right, Laura Lane, and we speak and we train. You've met these customer service people who really are not in their calling, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
And you can tell.
Right, and so it's intentional. Only I can resonate with the Holy Spirit, or I can resonate with myself as far as being clear about those things that interest me. It shouldn't be an effort or a toil. Yes, it's work, but it shouldn't be a burden to be in the calling that God has put me in.
Right, and so do you think that there are clues within us, within our personality, that are calling and beckoning us and showing us the path?
Oh, absolutely. And so, I mean, we're an assessment company, and we have all these tools and resources that help people to get clear. So personal style is one of the things that we mention, and that this is your natural predisposition in terms of time, people, and situations. So those things, I have a natural orientation. You were talking earlier about, accountants, or so some people have a detailed orientation, others that don't. And so I need to kind of honor that, because then when I'm in my space, then I'm able to contribute at the highest level.
And so do you think that if we do these assessments that you do in your company, if we're struggling with purpose, if we're struggling with where we fit in the world, and perhaps even we're in the wrong career, that getting aware of who we are will lead us to a better place?
It's foundational. I had an individual who's been in career development for 40 years, and I asked them this question. I said, why is it, after all the work that we have, that we still have 80% of people really not in the zone? And his comment was, and for everybody watching, is he says, this is my experience, is that people are not willing to do the work. You need to do the work. It's your responsibility. Some will spend more time on their going to a movie or some kind of entertainment thing or bowling this weekend than on themselves.
What is the work?
The work is to find out about your style, your values, your interests, your gifts, your talents, and accumulating all of that to bring the picture of the purpose that you're created for.
So becoming very aware. I'm excited, Ken, because you are here all week. Brian's going to be talking with you, and I hope he doesn't bring me up, Ken. If that happens, just cut it off.
We'll work on it.
Right there. Okay, well, thank you so much.